Hey, it's Mazzy. New year, new stupidity. It's the music stupid. What number is this? 17? I don't know. You know the number because it's in the title. I don't remember. I've done so much stupid music over the last year. This is another one. Now, it's not stupid music. It's great music. But what this is about, how this whole thing started, is because of the audiophile world, which I do dip my toes in, and I'm not mocking or ridiculing audiophilia. It's something that people should experience depending on their means, their systems, their taste, their pleasures, and enjoy the music. Again, this is concentrating on the music, not about the mastering or the pressings or anything else, just the music, and music I love. So I like to pull 5 albums each time and do this. And I think this is a good mix this time. There's a little bit overlap here and there. Not really, but it's a wide variety of music. And I want to start out with this 1970. God, where are the years going? 51 years ago, 1972. 72, I think this is 1972. Yeah, the first solo album by Pete Townshend. Of course, Pete Townshend of The Who. This is Who Came First, his first solo album, and it wasn't originally planned as a solo record. This was from a series of recordings, a lot of which came out of these demos for the Lifehouse project, a project he was working on. He was a disciple of Meher Baba. There you go, Meher Baba. This is from a documentary film. These stills, he was a disciple of Meher Baba, and that was a project. I do have recordings. I have a CD box set of the Lifehouse stuff. A lot of those songs, or a handful of those songs, turned into what became Who's Next in 1971. But there was bootlegs out there in the ether. This is the time, 1970, 69, 70, when bootlegs from the Beatles and Dylan were coming out, and the label decided they should probably put these out, and he wanted to play with them and finish them off. And this is an original UK track record version with a gatefold. Of course, the cover where he's standing on eggs is a really play on the title and the whole concept. And if you don't know this, you're going to hear this now. Who Came First is the name of the album title. So who came first, the chicken or the eggs? Get it? I don't know if that's a sense of humor, but what a great record. And I've said this before, I usually prefer Pete Townshend's vocals over Roger Daltrey. Roger Daltrey is the better singer, of course, the more anthemic, the more rock and roll. He's powerful, but there's a certain tonality that Pete Townshend has, and I just love his vocals. So Pure and Easy, that opens this up. I love this version of it. There's a Who version of it that came out later on Odds and Sods, one of those sort of outtake alternate releases, which is a great record also. And there was an expanded CD and I think record store edition of Odds and Sods later. Love that record. I think, unless I'm misremembering this, that was a collection John Entwistle curated. But Evolution, the second song on here, is really great. It's Ronnie Lane from Faces, Small Faces and Faces. He sings that, and of course later they would do Rough Mix together. Another great record. But I absolutely love this record, and I bought it when it came out. Sheridan Gibson, what a great song, just on acoustic guitar. I'm sitting in the Sheridan Gibson playing my Gibson. Maybe not brilliant, but just I remember gravitating on that song when this came out when I was 17 years old. But just absolutely love this record. So opening up with a wonderful, great album. And the sound of this is really good. Of course, these were a lot of home demos, but he was the first of the British artists that actually had a full working studio in his house. I think he talked Paul McCartney into building a studio as well. But he was the first, as far as we know, officially. The next record is a 1976 record, the debut record by Southside Johnny and the Asbury Jukes. Another record. I absolutely love the opening track on this. I Don't Want to Go Home. The sound of the horns, the sound, it jumps out of your stereo, and his vocal on it is great. Now, he is heavily associated with Bruce Springsteen, and he came out of that whole New Jersey Springsteen scene. Blue-Eyed Soul, another great singer, not as great a songwriter, so is more of an interpreter. The opening track was written by Steve Van Zandt, of course, all tied in, Little Stevie, with Bruce Springsteen. I believe Little Stevie produced this record, I think, unless I'm misremembering that. But he has the full-on horn section in his band. And they do some cover songs, Solomon Burke songs, Got to Get You Out of My Mind. They do Steve Cropper songs. They do The Fever. This was a Bruce Springsteen song that he hadn't recorded up to this point, and he would do it live in his shows. But the great version of Fever on here goes to a number of other songs that are just another couple of Little Stevie songs, Steve Van Zandt song. But it's a joyous rockin' soul record. Really great vocals, really well produced. In your face, get up and dance. Closes out with You Mean So Much to Me, Baby. You Mean So Much to Me. Another Bruce Springsteen combination that is actually a duet with Ronnie Spector. So a fantastic Blue-Eyed Soul record. Southside Johnny and the Asbury Jukes. They were on Epic Records, obviously the sister label, Columbia, that Bruce was on. Maybe that's not an accident. But I saw them at a small club, the Savoy Tivoli in North Beach, right when this album came out. Small back room, Upper Grant in San Francisco, and he was so good. They like blew the roof off the sucker. Really great. Next is an album that I really enjoy a lot. Actually, I enjoy all these, so I'm repeating myself saying how I love these records because I wouldn't be showing them if I didn't love the music, especially. And this is Jim White, and I think this is the debut on Luca Bach record. Luca Bach is the label curated and run by David Byrne of the Talking Heads fame. Did a lot of great, interesting artists, a lot of world music, fantastic. I shouldn't say fantastic. I'm all sensitive now of using certain words to describe the music. This is a alternative country record. He did, I'm thinking 4 records, maybe 5 on Luca Bach. Then he went out on, you know, they had a, he moved on after that. But I would buy these on CD as soon as they came out after I heard this first record, because I love every record. And what's interesting about these records, they're a mix of country and alternate. There's some electronic occasionally thrown in. Occasionally there's some hip-hop stuff, trip-hop thrown in here. So it's really a modern record and a new sort of urban cowboy. But Wrong-Eyed Jesus, A Mysterious Tale of How I Shouted Wrong-Eyed Jesus. There's actually a documentary I have on DVD of him in this period of time. And I can't remember, he's from Texas. I don't remember, unfortunately. I should have researched that. But I just take these off my shelf and, you know, want to share about the music as much, a little about the history. So it's kind of an ironic view of cowboy religion. And it's just... I just love this record, and it is, I mean, I did read all this once. The Mysterious Tale of How I Shouted Wrong-Eyed Jesus, a true story by Jim White. Apparently in his performance, I unfortunately never saw him. He does these like stories, and he interacts with the audience and does a lot of these songs, and they're great. I think it's on this record where he does this one song that's a little hybrid of King of the Road, maybe it's on the next album, the Roger Miller song, Trailer for Sale or Rent. He kind of incorporates that in one of his songs, I believe, as I recall. Unless I'm misremembering that too. But great record. This is the only one, as far as I know, that was later issued on vinyl. This came out on vinyl in 2014, so it's already 9 years old. But if you see this and you like that description, I highly recommend it. I wish all his records. Now, that would be a cool box set. The Jim White, Luca Bach box. I would buy it. I don't know how many they'd sell, but I think these are ripe for vinyl issues. Staying with the little country concept a little bit, one of my all-time favorite country records is from 1975, and it's the king of the honky-tonk, literally. And this is Gary Stewart's Drinking Thing. Out of Hand is the name of the album. He had a song that his first hit just prior to the album was called Drinking Thing. It was on the country charts. He had a very unique honky-tonk sound. His voice had a little warble in it. So if you're listening to it, it's not that warble of your turntable over a bad tape, but it's slight, but it's a tenor that is really good with a twangy Telecaster guitar all over this record. But the hit that I got into, and we used to play this in the record store I worked in 1975, is She's Acting Single, I'm Drinking Doubles. I mean, that's a perfect country title. Unfortunately, he had some drinking problems. I think he died of a heart attack around 2004. I don't know exactly, Eric. But this is one of the best honky-tonk country cowboy records I've ever heard in my entire life. I love the band. It's sweet, it's romantic, it's in-your-face country, and it sounds really good on RCA Records. 1975, Scary Stewart, Out of Hand. And lastly, I'll talk about this record, and then let me talk about the band first. In 1980, I was in the UK when I was researching and photographing stuff for the book that David Bacon and I did, The Beatles England. And we were in London, and I went Oxford Street, and I can't remember if it was Virgin or HMV, where they had stacks of records. And I saw this name of this band. I had never heard of the band. And this is not the record I'm showing, but their first record I bought because of the name of the band. Hadn't heard a track, and that was Echo and the Bunnymen. And I bought all their records at the time over the years. I do have the original UK copy I bought in the UK. And I love them. Band from Liverpool, from the late 70s. They started, and in 1980 was their debut. But my favorite of theirs, which is more mature, more realized, although all the first ones are good. Songs like The Cutter and Rescue, not Rescue Me, Come to My Rescue. I love this one the best, and this is Ocean Rain. This is a really mature record, an amazing sounding record, and it's a lot of beautiful layers and arrangements. And to me, I played this about a month ago upstairs on my main rig, and I blasted it, and I was surprised in a way how good this album is recorded and how great it sounds. And of course, Ocean Rain is great, but I think The Killing Moon is the centerpiece that opens up side 2 of that. But Seven Seas is great. Every song on this is I'm afraid I'm going to say fantastic. Every song on this is a killer. How's that? Every song is a killer. And I did buy at the time, around that time, these two UK 12 inches. Actually, this one's an American. And this is Killing Moon. It has the all-night version, which is kind of elongated 9-minute version, which is amazing, as well as the main version of Killing Moon, and Do It Clean, which is from a previous album, I recall. And that was recorded live at the Royal Albert Hall. But this is a great 12-inch 45 single. And of course, this one is a must-have. If you're an Echo and the Bunnymen fan, if you're a Beatles fan, this is great because not only does it have 7 Cs, it has this really kind of quirky version of All You Need Is Love. Of course, the Beatles song. Then it has Stars and Stars and Villiers Terrace. Okay, let's see. Is that... Anyway, I think one is from a TV appearance or something. Cordova Records. So this is a UK copy. That's the label they were on in the UK. An imprint. I don't know if that was an imprint of Warner's. I'm not quite sure. Someone in the comments will let me know. But Echo and the Bunnymen. This album really this is a beautiful record for a... They're not post-punk. They're almost, this period of the 80s. I mean, I got in bands at the same time along with them. I think I bought the first Psychedelic Furs album around that same time. I really liked that psychedelia that was being brought back. Not just it's not post-punk, but it's a little bit of the pop, but more on a psychedelic side. And I think they're mature bands. The first Psychedelic Furs band with India, oh God, I could have... I could have shown that too, because I saw those bands the first time they came to America, and I absolutely love them. So this is, it's The Music Stupid, whatever the number is, and these are some great records that I absolutely love, and listen to the music, and I don't need any other remastered, repressed box set versions of these, because they're beautiful as they are. Thanks for watching. Mazzy loves you.